Hey guys, I am Caleb Giddings from Taurus USA, and I am so excited to introduce to you the new Taurus 692 Executive Grade. We launched this gun at NRA annual meetings, and it is the first executive grade extension to the existing 692 lineup. So let's take a dive into this and look at some of the cool features on this gun. And we'll just get it out of the way right at the start. What is the 692? So the 692 is part of the Taurus Tracker series. In the Tracker lineup, we have the 627, which is a 7-shot 357 Magnum. We have the 992, which is a 9-shot 22 LR or 22 Magnum. We have the 44, which is a 5-shot 44 Magnum. All of these are medium frame revolvers that are designed for everything from concealed carry, home defense, personal protection, and even hunting. But the 692 was special because the original 692 incorporated a feature that you didn't see on any other revolvers on the market at the time, and you still don't see on any current production revolvers, and that's the ability to seamlessly switch between 357 Magnum and 9mm. And I'll show you how on the 692 Executive Grade. All you have to do is press this button with the cylinder open and remove the cylinder. Take your other cylinder, in this case the 357 Magnum cylinder, and that's it. You've now switched calibers. Oh, you want to go back to 9mm? No problem. All done. Piece of cake. This gun, in its non-executive grade format, was so popular it was one of our best sellers. So, of course, it made sense to introduce an executive grade version. Let's talk about now the executive grade features, things that you've come to expect on these guns. Starting up here at the front, we have the brass rod front sight. Why do we use a brass rod front sight? Well, we're the only company that does this. Other companies will use a brass bead front sight, which is nice, but I think that this is far more aesthetically pleasing, it gathers more light, and more importantly, it's more durable than a fiber optic sight. If I took a fiber optic front sight and banged it on the edge of this box, it'd snap the fiber optic, your sight's kind of useless. The brass rod doesn't break. Moving down on the gun, the 692 with this 3-inch barrel was always a ported gun. Porting is great, especially when you're dealing with 357 Magnum or 9mm. 9mm operates at a high enough chamber pressure that you can actually see the effects of these ports on reducing recoil. The overall finish of the gun is the beautiful satin stainless finish that we've come to expect on the executive grade line, and of course, presentation grade wood grips. The 692 is also the first executive grade series revolver to feature an adjustable rear sight, a feature that's extremely important when you're going back and forth between different calibers. Something like 158 grain 38 special is going to have a much different point of impact versus, say, 115 grain 9mm. So we want to make sure that we are able to zero our point of aim, point of impact to whatever projectile we're using, and the adjustable rear sight on the 692 lets us do that. Like all executive grade revolvers, this is a one gun, one gunsmith project. This gun gets built by one person, and they build it with one of the nicest double action trigger pulls on the market. If you want to shoot the gun in single action, the single action trigger pull, according to my highly calibrated trigger instrument right here, is about 2.5 pounds. It is a fantastic gun, and it's one of the executive grade projects that I am the most excited about for a couple of reasons. Let's say you own 4 or 5 polymer framed striker fired 9mm, right? You've got a Taurus G3, you've got a GX4, but you want to get into revolvers. You're curious, right? You're like, hey, what's this revolver thing all about? So you go online and you price shop some revolvers and you go, wow, okay, these are more expensive than I was expecting, which is understandable. Revolvers cost more to make. But then you start price shopping 38 Special and 357 Magnum ammo and you go, oh my gosh, this costs a lot of money. Because ultimately, if you want to shoot a lot, the gun's not the most expensive part, right? It's the ammo. So you're price shopping all this ammo and you're going, man, if I wanted to shoot even 50% of the volume that I shoot with my 9mm, I'm going to be spending so much money just to get proficient with this. And then you look and you realize you've got, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 rounds of 9mm sitting around. And all of a sudden you're like, let me go check the Taurus website. And you get to taurususa.com and you know about the executive grade because we're trying to, kind of get that information out there to you guys. And you see the 692 and you see that it takes a 9mm cylinder. And you think, well, wait a minute. I have a lot of 9mm sitting around my house. I don't need to go get a whole nother caliber. Oh, and it comes with moon clips in the box, so I don't need to go buy a bunch of moon clips to be able to shoot this? Well, that's really attractive. And it is, because it allows people who are curious about getting into the revolver life a very easy way to do it, and honestly, without having to break the bank. Even the executive grade version, being at an MSRP of around $1,100, is very affordable when you compare it to products of this quality level that you would find from other manufacturers. If you went out to another manufacturer and you bought a gun that was hand-built, hand-tuned, hand-finished, that had 2 different cylinders and could shoot 3 calibers, you would easily be in the $1,800 to $2,000. But because of the engineering efficiencies that we have built in Taurus USA and in our Brazilian facility, this gun's MSRP is only $1,100, which means your street price is probably going to be under $1,000 for this. I personally cannot think of a better way for someone to get into revolver shooting if they've consistently been a semi-automatic 9mm kind of guy than getting a Taurus 692. And if you're going to do it, get the 692 executive grade because it is better. However, that being said, the regular plain Jane 692 is also a pretty good gun. I know because I have one.